to the track, the wall, makes the leap, and makes the catch! Amazing catch by Junior! He got it! A perfect game! 13 strikeouts. And Bonds hits right high! It's a game! It is out of here! 7:56! What a special moment for Barry Bonds. Swinging a long drive, deep to right, going, goodbye. He has done it. He has changed the game of the night with one swing of his bat.
Hello and welcome to the Champions Adjust podcast. I am Coach David Bodzin. With me is Coach Aaron Machbitz, the myth, the legend, and all of the other stuff that people say about you that we can't say on the air. As always, Champions Adjust is brought to you by Champions Adjust. It is a lifestyle apparel website with our mindset program, soon to be our NPA certified pitching program as well. We can talk a little bit more about that. I think we did last week as well. But first and foremost, good to see you, Aaron.
Coach Bodzin.
Good to see you, bud.
Nice job on the intro.
Go. First time.
Nice job on the intro. 44, episode 44, you finally nailed it.
Go. Hey, first thing I want to do is give a shout out to my boy, James Massengill. He listens to every episode with his daughter, Hadley, and his son, Carter. They listen to our every episode. I love y'all. I really appreciate y'all giving us a listen, and can't wait to see you in Dallas. That's pressure on you, James, to get to Dallas soon.
Much love.
Yeah.
Well, we're trying to get more regular, right?
Yeah, and this is our second consecutive week after saying for like 3 months or five months we're gonna do this every week. And oh, never mind, we have too much going on.
We go on a good streak, and then things happen, mostly that are baseball related.
Yes.
Then we go on a good streak, and then baseball related things happen. But October is coming up because we're in August. That means we have September, and October's coming up, and our most popular series is the postseason edition of MLB Playoffs, which we will do as much as we possibly can while watching the playoffs. Sadly, most of our predictions might not be true.
Ohtani, man. Shohei Ohtani and Framber Valdez threw a no-hitter.
Yeah.
Like, my picks are not looking terrible.
Well, the only picks we really botched are the Cardinals.
Oh, the Cardinals are freaking terrible.
But Rangers are looking good. Astros always look good. I'm pumped about the Orioles. We picked them to do really well this year, I believe. But you can revert back to that episode to actually see if we're telling the truth or not and keep us accountable.
We did. I don't know who. I think I had the Rays winning the division mostly because they had already won like. No, we did it on opening day or did it a week later?
We did it before the season or on opening day.
Oh, that's right.
Before they went on their winning streak
up here. That's right. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'm actually have no idea. Every time I watch a game, I'm like, hey, did I pick that guy to do well? I don't remember. I know I did Corbin Carroll, Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
He's a runaway. I know I did Shohei Ohtani, MVP, runaway.
He's the best player in the world.
I think those are the only two that I know for a fact I got right.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I got
Garrett Cole right now is the front runner for Cy Young. I picked Valdez.
But it's been a good season so far.
It's been fun.
September will be hot. And October baseball is the freaking best. So,
and I think
as youth coaches or just as coaches, we'll be in the midst of fall ball too, which is really what we want to talk about. Is sort of the development year round for a baseball player.
Yes.
It can be tricky. Like, when should I be pushing forward? When should I stop throwing? If I should stop throwing, should I be doing a workout routine? When should I get in speed and agility? How do I mix in my mental skills there? So initially, arm care stuff.
Yeah.
Someone comes off a season.
Sure.
Let's say someone ages 12 to 14.
Okay.
And they just came off their spring season, which is long, right? Generally, you start practicing in February. The season normally ends late June, early July. That's a long time to be throwing, especially if you're someone who's a pitcher and throwing every weekend.
A lot of throwing.
No matter if your coach is conscious of your arm or not, which hope to God that he is.
Sometimes
even if he is, that's still a lot of throwing because at a young age, right, as you're going to explain to us, the arm is funky, the mechanics are not there yet, the fluidity is not there yet to protect your arm in certain ways. So what sort of advice do you have?
The question you have to ask yourself after the season is, does my arm hurt? How does my arm feel? If it hurts, shut it down. Not only shut it down, but figure out what was going on during the season that caused it to hurt. Because your arm should never hurt when you throw. If your arm hurts when you throw, your mechanics are bad. It is as simple as that. If your arm hurts when you throw it, your mechanics are not good.
Mm.
It should never hurt to throw a baseball. So if your arm hurts, figure out why.
Can I stop you there
Go ahead.
and ask a clarifying point?
Yes.
Okay, how do I know that it hurts or it's tired or it's sore? Is there a distinction, or it should not feel like that at all?
There's always a distinction, right? For example, the year that we went from 70 feet to 90 feet on bases, arms got tired and sore. It felt like that might be hurting. No, it wasn't hurting. Your arm was just doing something it's never done before. The mechanics weren't bad. We made sure of that. We were introducing some big long toss programs they'd never done before. Of course, they got tired. Their arms started to feel a certain way. There is a distinction.
Like tricep.
Right. There is a distinction,
like
right?
a little bit at the
Depends
top
on
of
where
the
you hurt.
shoulder.
Like when every single time I have someone throw over 60 pitches, the next day, where were you sore? And as long as they're telling me back here and here, we're throwing the ball.
Where people are not
Okay, so
watching,
like
what are you saying?
in the shoulder blade area up towards the traps in the shoulder. That's good soreness. That means we're using the right parts of our body. If I am sore in my biceps, in my elbow, in my
like pec,
pectoral,
pec.
that means that my mechanics are off. I'm putting additional unnecessary pressure on my arm. I'm not using my body the way I need to. And oftentimes that leads to pain. Now, pain is also very easily alleviated. I'll give you an example. I have one pitcher. He's a tall lefty. First time I met him, his arm was hurting every time he threw. Within 2 weeks, he would throw 60-pitch bullpens with me, and he'd feel like he can throw another 100.
Because
just
what?
Small mechanical adjustments.
Like
that we
where the
made.
foot lands, the hip.
Where our momentum is going, where our glove side is going, where our head is going, over the belly button as we're going through. Those specific things that are very easily solved by a couple, millimeters and centimeters and inches of our preset and how we're getting downhill fixes a lot of those, because our momentum is off, and so our arm is being used in a certain way it shouldn't be using.
Right.
So going back to the initial aspect, yes, there's a difference between pain and sore. I have a very tough time dictating exactly. I know what feels what. I have a tough time explaining it. If you would like to give a shot of what it is for our 10, 11, 12-year-olds who might be listening to this, or the parents of 10 and 11, 12s who
Well, yeah, I
might
mean,
not know.
I think the clarifying point here that you made is really important is where.
Sure.
Where is really important, and like you can ask your young players on a scale of 1 to 10. If it's a 9 in the elbow,
Yes.
sharp pain.
Oh
done.
man, I had a kid.
Right, but if I'm like my arm's here and it's like I'm just like lifting it overhead and it just like feels heavy.
Yeah.
Back here, it's fine.
You're fine.
It's fine. That's why exercise and workout and
Yes.
band work is important.
Which is why I disagree with shutting down throwing.
Hold on,
right
we're
there.
not. We can't.
Okay, go ahead.
We're still on this
That was a
point.
good- that was a good
so that's
segue.
important because I say working out and doing band work is important because that will get you sore and
Yes.
tired as well. So you have the same initial feeling like after a hard workout, you did 50 push-ups that day, right? Whatever you are, if you're a young person, 50 push-ups is a lot. The next day, your arms are going to be sore. It's like, oh, okay. So I'm not hurt. I'm not injured. It's just a little still tired. You go for a long run, your legs are tired, your calves are tight.
Right.
That makes sense. I can understand that. Now when I throw 45 pitches in a baseball game and the next day I wake up and my body's a little stiff, but I don't have sharp pain.
Sure.
I'm not crying. I don't need Advil. It's just like my body feels a little bit heavier. Yes. That's important.
And
because I heard you talk about this, like the pitcher's legs should be more tired than his arm is.
Always.
And that was important for me to lock in, like for catching pitching situations, what should be before and after, how they're going to feel the next day. So that was a really good
there's one
piece
as
of
a
wisdom
pitching
from you
guy.
as
If I
well.
go out to the mound and hold out your arm real quick, what you're done is drinking your water,
Okay.
and they say I'm tired, a little sore. Where? Here. You're done.
Elbow.
If you're sore in your elbow,
Elbow. Yeah.
if you're anywhere in that elbow and you're feeling any kind of pain, you're done. And you're done until I can look at you and figure out exactly what you're doing wrong. Now, the odds are, if you're feeling that way, I'm already seen it because I've trained myself. I've been trained well enough to like see somebody throw one pitch and say, that's going to hurt this part of their arm. A little pat on my own back.
Sure. That's
sure,
what's
yeah.
our podcast.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
do whatever you
I
want.
think I want to do. So if it hurts in the interior, you're done. There's no way I'm letting you throw another baseball until we figure this out. In fact, I had a pitcher who I won't name his name, but he was throwing up more than he probably should. And then one day I saw him on Game Changer. He didn't have a great outing. I said, hey, what worked, what didn't work? And he said, well, my elbow hurt a lot. I said, okay, where? He told me where. I said, how long? He said, during warmups. I said, you should not have pitched. You should not have pitched that game. you are lucky, and it turned out to be a level 2 strain. You are lucky it's not a tear.
Right.
Because your body is screaming at you, don't throw, don't throw, don't throw.
It's telling you signs, warning signs.
That is causing that to occur.
Right.
So when I go back to the initial question, as pitchers, you pitched a lot. What are we doing? Well, how did it feel when you were throwing? Now let's go best case scenario. You threw the right way all year, and you ended the season healthy.
Right.
Take a couple weeks off. Like, rest yourself. Take a couple weeks off.
From specifically throwing a baseball.
Yeah, from throwing a baseball. Don't throw a baseball for a couple weeks. Just, reinvigorate yourself and reestablish yourself into your routine. You just don't. From a baseball perspective, now from a workout perspective, I'm going to let you talk because I'm very passionate about that as well, but that's more of your forte. From a pitching and baseball perspective, don't pick up a baseball. Like, do your workouts, do your exercises, which you'll talk on. There's no reason to go pick up a bat or pick up a baseball for 2 weeks. But for the coaches out there who say, well, you need to take 2 or 3 months off, you threw a lot. What happens when you take more than 2 weeks off from throwing after a season of pitching is you're losing all of the muscle mass and all the muscle memory, which muscles don't have memory, it's nerve-ending memory, right? All of that memory and all that muscle mass and all the work you put into this is eliminated. It's the same thing as if I work out every single day for a year and then I take more than 2 weeks off, what happens to my muscles?
Yeah, they start to go away. You lose stuff much more quickly than you gain it.
Yes.
But there's some differing opinions on there specifically for working out.
Sure.
Like, yeah, you can take 1 week off of lifting weights, but that doesn't mean you just sit around all day.
Right.
You're still moving your body because a core tenet of being a functional human being is moving. So you're still walking, you're still maybe jump roping, you're still running, you're still doing an elliptical, right? There's still movement there. You're not just letting yourself waste away.
Right.
That's specifically talking about, taking a week off from lifting weights to give yourself time to recover and your muscles to grow and things like that. There's some benefit there. But postseason, like you're talking about, yeah, you're taking 2 weeks off of throwing a baseball, but taking 2 weeks off of doing any sort of movement activity is the wrong approach.
Right.
Now, if you need a couple days after your season because you had a long season and baseball's hard and it's a grind and it can be tough on your body, great. But taking 2 days off means foam rolling, means stretching, means recovering. That's what actually will get you recovered, not just sitting on the couch and eating Cheetos for 2 days. That's not recovery.
No.
That's doing worse. That's reversing. So recovery is actually an active process. That's why you have your pitchers do certain things after they're done to recover.
Yes.
Recover doesn't mean sit in the dugout for the rest of the game. It means do your arm care stuff to recover better.
Always.
It's the same thing postseason. It's the same thing post-game. It's actively recovering. It's getting enough quality sleep. It's taking different types of showers. It's doing foam rolling or myofascial release or yoga or going for a run or a walk. And then a couple days later, then you start to introduce a workout program because part of the off season is about getting stronger. It's about getting stronger in the specific baseball areas. Your hips, how to rotate faster, in your legs, your rotator cuff, your back muscles, your traps, things of that nature that will help you be a better baseball player, not just doing a bunch of bench press, right? But being able to lift overhead is extremely important because if you can lift overhead a certain amount of weight, you have a lot of stability in your shoulder. You want to create stability in your shoulder as well. You're not trying to lift as much weight as possible, but you're trying to create more stable, more functional muscles. Deadlifts are really good, trap bar deadlifts, reverse lunges are really good. You want to build your glutes, right? You want to have strong fucking glutes. That's everything.
Yes.
That's how you hit balls hard because you're loading up in your hip. It's the same way with pitching. You're loading up in your hip. And so those things are important. So the way you work out is important. The way you recover is important. And that all translates to how you throw and how you feel.
Yes.
And so that's important.
Circle that back around to, okay, so now the season's over, you do that. But we were talking about fall ball as well.
Yeah.
And I think we both feel passionately a certain way that it's tough to do fall ball. It is. Especially from a high school perspective.
Yeah, it's an interesting time.
There is a balance of it, right? Because I don't agree with throwing 100% during fall. I think that your fall ball is part of your off-season program, to me.
Yes.
You're still getting reps. And yeah, you can throw 100% for 30 pitches, but you're probably not going to throw much more than 30, 40 pitches at a time because, shoot, you just got done. You're going again. Then you're going to get a little bit of break, and you're going to go into spring, which starts immediately. And then for high school guys, once spring's over, summer immediately starts. Mm-hmm. And that's for me being an arm care guy, man. It's tough to gauge that because I have no idea. You were a dude for your high school, so you threw way too much. I can't really use you. You're a PO for my team, and I can't really use you because I don't want to use and abuse you and risk injury.
It's challenging.
Because even if you throw the ball the right way, there's still such thing as muscle burnout.
Yeah.
Right? And you can do everything perfectly, but if you do it too often, you're going to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do we balance that? Which is why I get very cautious from a pitching perspective when it comes to fall ball. Because you just got done throwing 80, 90, 100 pitches. Okay, cool. So you're going to go do that again in the fall and do that again in the spring and again in the summer. Where's your break? At what point do you take that break?
Mm-hmm.
So when I say after the season, take a 2-week break and then get back to throwing, I don't mean throwing off a mound. I mean, start building build your arm back up and work towards the next year.
Right.
We're getting up to, the 60 feet, and then the 90 feet, 120 feet, 180 feet, 250 feet. We're going to the long toss, 300 feet. And then we can do some flat ground stuff. And we can do some towel work and our mechanical stuff. But off a mound 100% is just super unnecessary. I think in the off season, unless you're playing fall ball and it's competitive, then you're going to be off the mound. But then we're managing how many pitches we're throwing at 100% off the mound.
Right. Yeah. I just really want fall to be, especially for youth players, let's say under 15, fall definitely has to be about getting foundational reps.
Yes.
Reps. If you don't play games in the fall as someone who's under 15, that's 100% the best way to go. Because it's really the only time where you can get practice on the field at the fundamentals of baseball. Mm-hmm. Reps. How can I get better? Everyone always asks that question. How can my player develop? How can he get better? The fundamentals. That's where you learn them in fall.
Yes.
Right? What we were able to do with our Champions Adjust Fall program
last year was amazing.
Was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's where everyone got better. They got better at the fundamentals, fielding ground balls, cuts and relays, playing catch, like understanding the mental part of the game. These basic reps that you have to be brilliant at if you want to develop. IQ of the game, being around other guys that are just as talented or better, like elevating your game, things like that. Now it gets a little more complicated when you go into 15 and go into high school, but we try to emulate that and then potentially play some games in terms of, scrimmages, evaluation, things of that nature. But it's still even at 15, 16, and 17 about the fundamentals. That's why they do spring training for major leaguers, because it's about the fundamentals.
Yes.
That's why college practices are 42 hours long in the fall, because all we're doing is the fundamentals.
Yes.
The fundamentals is the fundamentals of the fundamentals. Bunts,
in
cuts
college,
and relay,
you don't throw a baseball for the first month.
Like it's like you don't do anything
Did y'all,
fun.
fall ball at South Dakota State, did y'all touch a baseball during fall ball?
We
in
did.
The first few weeks.
We did, because it's the only time we can get outside all year.
Fair. For us, it was at Arizona, and I say us, meaning an operations perspective. We all know that, but I was there at every practice. I was helping set up. It was short. It's called skill hours. And you're from 2 to 5 o'clock. Coaches weren't allowed out there for the first few weeks. And it was a lot of just taking ground balls and just you're not throwing. Nobody's throwing a baseball right here. We're getting around the cones. We're doing this. We're doing outfield drills. We're hitting off the tee. And then you get into the second month and it's all right, so now we have all these preferred walk-ons. We're going to start playing games, inter-squad games. And we're going to go play against Cyprus. We had this 21 or 27 out or ridiculous, it was a 21 inning game is what we did.
Jeez.
It's 63 outs, just so everybody can be seen. It's your final tryout because cuts are coming up the next week, right? Mm-hmm. But even when a Division I pre-ranked number 1 team in the entire country program is working out, they're still doing, like you said, it's fundamentals. I was a part of multiple Arizona Fall League programs and multiple Texas Rangers winter camp programs and multiple spring trainings in general. Mm-hmm. And the amount of boring reps it takes at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. And then, like spring training, we look at spring training as, it's on TV and we can go to some games. Well, shoot, the games start in March, right? But everybody's been there for a month. And what have they been doing? They've been waking up and doing the reps.
They're having a coach roll them ground balls.
So many reps for that first month before you see them on MLB TV actually in game reps, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. These are backfield 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. I was out there. I was the one with the Rangers setting up the backfields during spring trainings, man. It was, I eat my waffle that the chef makes. It's really good. On the major league side, they'll make you breakfast. On the minor league side, you have to make it yourself. And you go out there, you get on a gator, and it's cold as shit at 5 o'clock in the morning in Arizona in February. And you're rolling through in this brisk cold weather, you're just throwing cones down, throwing bases down, throwing balls down. And you just go out there and for the next 4 hours, you're just a bunch of guys hitting fungos for 3, 4, 5 hours. PFPs, getting this stuff ready.
Reps.
Just getting reps in, because even major leaguers at the highest pinnacle they're doing a good off-season program to keep themselves in shape, hopefully for a good injury prevention, which I just thought of something. And then it's go time, which I just thought about. Remember we did the Champions Adjust fall and winter camp, and everything we did was injury prevention. How many injuries did we see for our guys during the season?
My team specifically?
From guys who were in our programs.
Oh, yeah, I know.
0.
Is that the number?
I had 0 arm injuries of anybody who worked with me in the arm care injury prevention program.
Great. I mean,
0.
yeah, we did speed and agility. All of that stuff you should be doing, right? You should always be trying to get faster, quicker, first step reads, right? Being able to be a better base runner, developing your game plan on base running. How do I know cuts and relays better, or where I should be? What's my pre-pitch routine? What's my post-pitch routine? All of that stuff that's the fundamentals.
Right.
That's the fundamentals. And then we talk about this college and pro stuff. Like, that's the point where no one gives a fuck if it's fun.
That's very true.
Right? And so,
especially at JUCO.
What I mean by this is that when you're 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, that's when you're falling in love with the game.
Yes.
You're falling in love with the game. That's when we fell in love with it. I fell in love with it when I was 4. You were probably like 0.
I was, probably about
right?
0.
And so that's why you fall in love with the game. That's why it's about having fun, right? But also, while you're having fun, you're developing a base level of skill and fundamentals for the game. Now, as you move into 14, 15, 16, 17, yes, there's still an element of fun, right? Because you're around your friends. It's a little more relaxed, but there's also some intensity to it because you're trying to win and do certain things and prove yourself and earn a spot and maybe get to college. But then in college, no one uses that word. The coach isn't like, hey, we're out here to have fun. I don't give a fuck if you have fun.
No.
You should already love the game.
Yes.
So to be out here for 8 hours is fun in itself.
Go win.
This is the fun right here. 8 hours of just taking ground balls.
High school's not far from that.
And a lot of hye school coaches are going to say the same thing too.
A lot of high school coaches.
You have to have the fun instilled in you already.
Once it becomes a coach's job to win games, they don't care about fun anymore.
That's why it's your job. I'd say this all the time. This is probably the most important thing I ever say. You have to never let anyone take you out of your game. And if part of your game is to have fun and enjoy yourself, keep that. There are certain moments when the coach is talking to you. Yeah, you shouldn't be smiling or joking back, right? You should be serious, tuned in, locked into what he's saying. But if you're a person who that's sort of their mentality and their approach to the game, to keep it light, to keep it loose, while also being able to be intense at the same time, keep that. But there has to be an internal joy, because no one cares. No one cares if you're having fun or not. They care about you doing your job on the field. So there has to be an internal care and internal joy of, I just love playing the game. I love this. I love getting better. I love engaging. I love trying. I love falling down. I love getting back up. I just love it. That's where you grow the love for it. And then the fun just happens to pour out of you because you love being on the field.
Yes.
No matter who's coaching or what's happening or the team you're playing or the environment you're in or how many hours you've been out on the field, you just do the thing. And so that's why it's important to develop that at a very, very young age, because as you move up, it gets more serious. Now, I think it's getting too serious too quickly. We don't need to be ranking 8 and 9-year-old teams.
God, no.
We need to be having fun and playing spike ball and doing ultimate frisbee while also playing baseball at the same time. And then when it gets to a level, maybe 13, yes, 14 and on, then it can become a more, because the game is a bit faster, it's quicker, they understand things are happening, but there has to be that sort of level about the game. And as you progress in levels, that's how people feel about it. So
yes, absolutely.
Anything else on a sort of arm care development type, sort of high level stuff that you think people should know?
Be smart. Be smart. I think that it's such an easy thing to say, but be smart, right? Since cavemen, we've been throwing everything overhand, right? They say this is a terrible motion for you. Well, we're predisposed naturally supposed to do this. Mm-hmm. People have been throwing spears at rabbits for forever, throwing stones at animals forever to kill them and to eat, right?
Right.
So it's okay to go throw a rock, right? Just go be smart. And that means that when your season ends, you want to go guest play for a different team, sure, but be smart about it. Because like if you're one of my pitchers and you throw in a ton of pitches and then the season ends and you go the next week and go guest play somewhere else, I'm going to tell you right now, that's probably not the smartest thing to do. Mm-hmm. I have used you in a way that I know that your last day pitching is on this day. I've maxed you out. within comfort level for energy, for injury prevention. Now you're leaving my purview and go play for somebody else for an extra week for nothing. That gets dangerous. Now that's not to everybody, right? But that's why I say be smart. Understand how you've been utilized throughout the season, because at the end of the day, now you and I are coaches who will always protect our kids. But most coaches that we see do not do that. At the end of the day, coaches want to win more than they want to protect your arm. So it's important for kids to understand that your arm is your investment. Parents, your kid's arm is yours and your kid's investment. Coaches don't give a shit. They care about winning. You have a big arm, they're going to utilize you however they want. It's up to you to protect your son and to protect yourself. So be smart.
Yep.
That's all I got.
That's sound advice. Okay, I think that'll wrap up this episode.
Cool. Hey, we're doing weekly. We go smaller. We're doing weekly. But we do little.
We just give the wisdom.
Yeah, man.
The nuggets of wisdom in a short amount of time. Boom, right there for you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening, watching, wherever you are. And if you are on YouTube, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you're listening on an audio platform, give us a 5-star review. That's cool. Helps us out. And most importantly, above all else, please remember that
Champions adjust, baby.